breaks the tackle, no one home. Touchdown, Dallas. Back it's Prescott, launching, going deep. Pickens, good coverage. He's got it. Oh, how many great catches is he going to make today? Now Dallas are going to run with Williams. Big hole, Javonte Williams, rumbling inside the 5, and he's finally taken down at the 2. Prescott throws over the middle, and it's caught. Ferguson, touchdown, Dallas. Fake to Williams. Prescott throws it out to Ferguson. Touchdown, Dallas. Garai throws it in the front. And picked off. Guess who? Deron Bland. One man to beat. Pick 6.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome in to the Wild Sports Show, the Willie and Son Sports Show. To the right of your screen is Pops. I'm QMP. Listen, y'all, we're coming off of a Cowboys victory against the Commanders. So we're going to get right into it, y'all. So we got a few takeaways from the game. Pops, I know you're happy that we won. I'm happy that we won. Now, so everyone understands, my Pops and I, we are avid Cowboys fans. We love the Cowboys. We bleed blue. However, this show is the Wild Sports Show, right? So we're not going to just talk about the Cowboys. Some of it's going to be the Cowboys. Some of it's going to be other NFL teams, namely the team that the Cowboys are going to be going up against the following week. We're going to also talk about the previous game. We're going to also have in some college sports as well, maybe some basketball. But again, it's a sports show. We love the Cowboys, but we're not going to just talk about the Cowboys here. So again, we're going to go into it now, get some takeaways from yesterday's game. As you saw those highlights, the Cowboys truly dominated the Commanders. Very, very impressive to see how they did against them, which a lot of people thought we were going to lose, but we turned into a win. So very, very pleased with that. Pops, give me your thoughts on the game. How do you think we performed?
Well, actually, I thought that people thought we were probably going to lose to the Commanders. But the fact is that our defense played a lot better yesterday. And I think actually the defensive coordinator, he changed up the scheme, and I don't think the Commanders knew what they were going to experience. And also our offense is really good anyway. But the fact of it is we had a little bit of defense yesterday. So we played a lot better on that. And then the next thing, is that Dak. Everybody knows he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And also we had CD Lamb back. And so we had Pickens on the other side. And even
Okay. So we kind of lost connection there a bit, Pops.
I might want to just add one other small thing, though, is that I think, excuse me?
Go ahead.
Okay,
Pop.
I wanted to just say this. The defensive coordinator, he changed the whole – can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, like I still say, the defensive coordinator, he changed up the whole scheme. And we usually play a zone, but this time we went man to man, and I think that is exactly what throwed off the Commanders. So I'm thinking that if we play that type of defense from now on out, we possibly can win more games.
Okay, I like that.
And that's my intake on it.
Okay. So, and I like that. And the thing is, for me, what I took away from the game, and I got a few notes here. So I like the way the defense rallied to the ball. They showed a lot more physical presence. They just weren't lackadaisical, going after the ball carriers or things of the nature. So when the players were catching the ball in front of the sticks, they were rallying to the ball to make sure they made that tackle. 2, 3, 4, 5 Cowboys rallying to the ball to make sure they didn't get that first down. And there was one play where the guy did a shoulder tackle and the running back did gain a few more yards after that. But he didn't wrap up. But we're talking about drastic improvements from how the defense has played the previous 6 games to now, which, as you said, they made the changes to playing a lot more man coverage. And I got a stat here. So the Cowboys played 49.2% more man coverage this game compared to any other type of coverage, which is significant because the players were actually asking for Eberflus to actually change up the scheme for them to play more man. So that was impressive that he actually listened to them and did what they asked, and we saw the results of that when it came down to it. Now, there's one other thing that I would say that I was really, really, really impressed with, and that was the fact that the offense played so well. They really were able to have some very explosive plays. And I'll say a very, very key point in the game was the drive just before the half ended, which, you know, the Commanders go down the field, they score, and we're thinking, okay, this is same old, this is what we're going to have to deal with, okay. And then we take 39 seconds to literally go down the field, big play to Pickens, big run by Williams, and, you know, we're driving down the field, and we convert that into a touchdown, which that ended up being a touchdown to Ferguson. So, and I know you like that tight end as well. So it was very impressive, very, very impressive win. Very, very pleased with what they did overall. They showed a lot more heart defensively. While they still can improve, they played much, much better than what they did previously. So, again, very, very pleased with the progress that they made, and we'll see how it goes when they go up against the Broncos. Much better test when it comes up to them in regards to their defense, the Broncos defense. So we'll see how that goes. But, you know, again, very, very pleased with their efforts.
Well, my input also on that is that when Dallas was playing the zone, they could not blitz that much. And this time, when they played the man, it gave them an opportunity to actually send the linebackers in, and also gave the front four the opportunity to kind of actually get in there themselves. But I'll say this: when Dallas played, I think those games before, then the actual teams they played didn't actually know what to expect. But this time going forward, then Denver doesn't know what to expect this time. We can either play zone or we can play man-to-man. And also with the offense we have, if we can stay in the game and at least score 40 points, I think we can actually win at least the next 3 or 4 games, for the simple fact that we can score with anybody. That's my intake on that. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Well, I'll say this. Now, you and I are very realistic Cowboys fans, right? We're very, very realistic. So
yes, sir.
There are those that will think that we're going somewhere, which we are not, at least not right now. Based off of just this win, the unrealistic Cowboys fans will think this, and which is, it's ridiculous. You see that? We're going to the Super Bowl. We are not going to the Super Bowl, not right now. But at the end of the day, this win shows what we are capable of doing. If the defense plays even average ball and offense continues to play like they've been playing, the sky is the limit. And I'm going to ask you this, Pops, in regards to the teams you've seen in the past, let's say the 92 Cowboys, 93 Cowboys, 95 Cowboys, where would you rank this offense this year compared to those other teams? If you had to rank them right now, if they continue to play like they've been playing, would you say that they are better than those particular offensive teams, or the same? How would you categorize them?
I would have to say right now, being let's say younger than those teams that I saw, the weapons that I see that they have the tight end, like I think like Jay Novacek was who they used to have, and now they got the tight end number 87, and they have also the receivers, wide receivers, and they have a good running back. And so if they continue to play like that, and Dak already knows exactly what he can do, and the stats right now that they have show that they can be probably about the third best team at this time, because like I still say, this is new. And these players that they're putting together, well, then they are still having to learn each other. And the offensive line is not intact yet. But the idea of it is, if they continue to play like they're playing, I believe actually, now this may sound kind of far-fetched, but I believe they can possibly make a, shall I say, a wild card playoff team.
Okay. And that's a realistic goal as far as how the NFC East has played out so far. We'll kind of talk about that a little later. But just how they played out so far, with being Cowboys fans, we don't really like any other NFC East teams. But again, with how things are playing out, we will see how things stack up. But this offense can truly play against anyone as it stands. And the funny thing is, people continue to talk about how the synergy between head coach and quarterback is so important. And we see how big of a deal it is with Brian Schottenheimer and Dak compared to Mike McCarthy and Dak. It just seems like there's so much more synergy. There's so much when it comes to the play calling and how there's so much in sync. And there's one other thing that I'll say as well in regards to how Dak is playing. There's a stat for this as well where it's saying that when a Dak has 3+ seconds or more to throw the ball, he has 62 completions, which is tied for the most in the NFL. And so that's meaning if the line is blocking like they're supposed to, and he's creating and doing what he needs to do as far as moving up in the pocket or manipulating the pocket or trying to maneuver around it, giving himself more time, that's allowing him to go down the field to have those huge explosive plays that we've been seeing throughout this season so far. And I mean, we've also scored over 40 points at home in each home game that we've had this season. So it's pretty impressive what Dak is doing, what Brian Schottenheimer is doing. It's truly amazing to see. We truly have not seen football like this in quite a while, as far as just being able to click on all cylinders and not feeling like we're out of any game.
Well, can I interject something else right quick? It's one little other factor in that. It's comfortability that Dak has with the head coach now. They already had a little rapport between each other, but now he probably feels a lot more comfortable because he can possibly audible out of calls or whatever, and it won't be bad for him to do that because he already knows how his coach thinks, and so I think that will help him also down the line.
Okay. Now, getting into our player of the game, I think we will both agree that it is this gentleman right here. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yes, sir.
And I was thinking about something earlier today, and the way Dak is playing right now, it's like he's seeing everything, and everything is kind of slowing down. And I remember hearing Tony Romo say that the year that they drafted Zeke Elliott was the year that he thought that he was going to have that same type of year as far as what Prescott's having right now, Dak is having right now. He was saying this is a while back when he had injured his back. He was saying if that wouldn't have happened, he would have had a significant year in regards to just what they had going on. And so that seeing what Dak is doing now, it just reminded me of that conversation that he had then. If he hadn't injured his back to what he's doing right now, I mean, just seeing what Dak is doing, it made me think like, man, what if Tony Romo would have been able to stay healthy that 1 year? Maybe we would have done something then. I don't know. But that version of Tony Romo is what I'm seeing with Dak right now, which is very, very impressive. And you could just tell the first game of the season against the Eagles, with just how chiseled he was, with how focused he was. Just felt like he was just ready, different than any other years. And he's playing better than what he was playing his runner-up MVP year in 2023.
I agree with that.
And then also he's got the same QBR, a better QBR than Lamar Jackson had in his unanimous MVP season in 2019. So I truly believe that if Dak continues to play like he's playing, he's definitely in the MVP conversation for sure. So he's a runaway favorite. He's our runaway player of the game for sure. There's no doubt about that because of how he played, so efficient and just driving down the field. It's impressive to see. So I'm very, very pleased just to see that and to be excited about watching him play football.
Well, what you have also is that the confidence level that he has now and also the yardage that he has now. And I say, the receivers that he has now, that reminds me of that same team back then. But like I always will tell you this, we can all say that now, but when they play the next game, you know how us Cowboy fans are sometimes. You know, if they fall or falter, then we have the bandwagons and we have those that actually stand and stay there with them no matter what, and a true blue Cowboy fan. So this next game with Denver will let us know a lot about them because they go to the new stadium with Denver, and Denver has one of the better defenses that we're going to face. And you saw what they did in the last quarter, I think, the game yesterday. So, again, we'll really find out a whole bunch with the altitude and everything when they go to Denver, how Dak's really playing and what weapons he has around him and what this defense will do.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think that it definitely will show a lot in regards to how offense plays against that type of defense. This is a defense that got, now I'm saying this, 9 sacks against the Jets, but even still, it's 9 sacks regardless. So that means they can truly get after the quarterback. And that means our line's going to have to come with it and make sure that they get the job done to make sure that gets those 3+ seconds to continue that awesome run of having that many completions to drive the ball down the field and to make sure that we're able to capitalize with the talent that we have currently. Now, another thing I want to say about the game is, you know, how we were able to drive down the field. We took the ball. Won the toss, took the ball. We never really do that. So we won the toss. We took the ball and drove down the field and scored.
Right.
That's not something we're used to either, where we drive down the field and score on the first drive. We've been used to stalled and kicking a field goal, which is another thing with Brandon Aubrey, who's a machine with what he's doing right now, getting us, if you get across the 50-yard line or get to that 50, it's a possible attempt, a field goal attempt, and with how he's kicking the ball, it's gonna go through for the most part. You know, he's impressive, but to take the ball, to win the toss, to take the ball, and to go down the field and score, that was truly impressive. And like I said, we're not used to seeing that, and I think it just shows the confidence that they had going into this game, how they could methodically go down the field or make plays down the field to score points early on, which will help our defense as well if we jump out to an early lead. And that means that they're not susceptible to having to run the ball, things of that nature, or have to constantly throw the ball down the field if we get out to an early lead. It's a significant difference when we have that compared to playing from behind.
Well, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
My thing is do you think we have any doubt or still about what we're going to do, or do you think we're convincing anybody to try to jump on the bandwagon?
I think offensively, we're convincing people to jump on the bandwagon. Now, defensively, how we play yesterday and a change in scheme, which it was inevitable. We had to do something instead of, you know, they say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result or expecting a different result.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we got to be able to change and do something to be better, because what we were doing with playing zone, it just wasn't working. And again, the players were literally saying that they wanted to play more man. So along those lines, saying that, there was one player in particular that said he wanted to play more man, and you spoke of him when we talked about this defense. I think it was Saturday. Do you remember who that player was that we talked about?
Well, you know, actually, I'm going to tell you, I did slip my mind, so go ahead and remind me again.
So the player that didn't play in Sunday's game.
He didn't play in Sunday's game. Yeah, well, like I said, it doesn't slip my mind, so you're going to have to remind me again.
Trayvon Diggs.
Okay, he said he wanted to play man.
Right.
Okay, due to the fact, though, so now with him having a concussion, then I think that kind of stopped it altogether. But I still believe, though, that he's a good man-to-man player, but I don't think his tackling skills are like they should be. But he can actually cover anybody, and that's how he got his interceptions, and that's how he was one of the better defensive backs about a couple of years ago. So we can actually stay on that scheme with Bland on the other side. I think we'll be all right.
Okay. So y'all heard it here. We hope to do a great job against the Denver Broncos. It's going to be a big test for the Cowboys to see how we play. This offense is vaunted offense. Now, talking all this talking all this offense up. Hopefully they can back it up as far as against this defense. They got a guy by the name of Patrick Surtain the second, who is a beast of a player. So now, mind you, there's two receivers that we have, along with Ferguson and others, that can definitely make an impact on this game. But it's definitely going to be a true test of what this offense is made of through and through. And you know the Denver Broncos are a physical defense, so you know we got to bring it and we got to make it happen. So it's going to say a lot. Now, mind you, the Denver Broncos have not played very well as of late. I mean, as far as early on in games. Now, they did a massive comeback, a historic comeback against the Giants yesterday. Very impressive. But listen, at the end of the day, if our offense is scoring like we've been scoring, and they play how they played those first 3 quarters of the game against the Giants,
yes, sir,
we know what the result's going to be. So do we think that's going to happen again where they're going to get shut out 3 quarters and then have a 33-point game? I don't think so. But at the end of the day, they can't play that way against this type of offense and expect the same result. I just think that would be foolish to think that they could do the same thing against the Cowboys. The offense, Cowboys offense, Giants offense, 2 completely different entities. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. But I just think, and I know you think this as well, comparing the 2 offenses, how we know we can play. I mean, the sky's the limit. The defense just has to be average, and we can have a good result against the Broncos. So,
and I will say this: excuse me, the longer we play together with the defense, like we're playing, and they get the defensive scheme that he really wants to implement there, I think that will be the key to us doing better than we did the previous 2 or 3 games. Because, like I still say, they're just not learning this type of defense, and he changed it up really yesterday. But if they play man to man and do like they're doing, and these players are still continuing to learn the defensive scheme, I think the Cowboys will be all right.
Okay. Now, speaking of the defense, there's one last thing that I want to discuss, and that is with our defense, we got these picks that we got from the Micah Parsons trade. So there's 3 different players that I'm looking at, and I'm going to ask you the question after I mention this. So our defense, we could probably use another player or 2 from some teams that are not playing really well. So I'm going to throw 3 names out there. So
okay,
let's say Trey Henderson from the Bengals, Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans, and Max Crosby from the Raiders. Now, would you be opposed to us using one of those first-round picks or, you know, maybe later-round picks? Now, namely, if we get Trey Hendrickson, we're going to have to sign him to a long-term deal. I would say that would be ideal because, I mean, if we're going to give up a first-round pick for him, it would be ideal not to have him just for half the season, but to have him for longer than that. And he's a beast of a player. So I would think we would have to sign him long-term if we give up a first-round pick for him. But out of those 3 players, do you think we are going to go after either one of those players to place on our defense to make us better?
I do believe that, but this is the key to that. We want to make sure we talk with the defensive coordinator about that and see what he thinks is best. And if he gives us his input on that, then we'll go from there. Because, like I said, we don't want to make a mistake. And then, you know, the next time, you know, we'll say we should have, would have, could have. And then my thing again is let the defensive coordinator talk with the owner and make sure they pick the right player. Because, hey, when you give up the draft choice, you need to make sure you make it. And plus, it's a long-term contract. We need to make sure we get the right guy at the right time.
Well, I'll say this. We both know who our general manager is in regards to the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, you're right in regards to him getting input from the defensive coordinator. But we already know how he is, the gambler from the documentary that we saw. So that means that if one of those players is out there, I wouldn't doubt that he would try to jump on the chance to get one of them for sure. And I know that you know, they're fielding offers, maybe not for Jeffrey Simmons, but I know for Trey Hendrickson, as there was talk about him being traded during training camp. as he didn't report because of the issues with his contract. And then with Max Crosby, with the Raiders not playing as well as some people thought they might,
Right.
Pete Carroll and having Geno Smith, they thought they were fair a little bit better, but I think they're going to be more sellers than buyers because they're not going anywhere this year. I think they're going to try to gain draft picks and things of the nature. So I would think that Max Crosby would be ideal to try to go after if we could, or like I said, Trey Hendrickson as well, because I don't foresee Trey Hendrickson being on the Bengals past this year. Jefferson Simmons could be the same thing. Because again, they're not doing well either, the Titans. So, I mean, when you got a young quarterback like they have with Ward, you want to try to trade and get more assets back to build around that player, to get younger and to get rid of some of those contracts as well. So, I would think that all three of those players are there, and who knows? The Cowboys may be in talks with them getting it done. I'm not sure, or they could be in talks with other players. I know Jerry Jones has said before that we have ammunition to acquire great players. Now, does that mean we're going to do it in the draft? Does that mean we're going to do it before the trade deadline this year?
But I got a question for you. So how long do we think he needs to wait to try to get a Super Bowl? Because we know it's been over 30 years. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so that means then he has to really kind of go out there and make sure he makes the right choice, or shall I say the coach and then him. Because the simple fact of it is his time as far as winning another Super Bowl, according to him and his age, he needs to try to get that done, at least hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years. Is that not correct?
That is correct. So his mortality does play a role in it as well, to where he could make a move like that. You make a great point. His mortality could say, you know what, I need to try and go after this now. Because, again, the offense is playing very, very well, and you do not want to lose out on the window that you're currently in with his offense being so explosive. So, is he going to try to make a Charles Haley type deal? Possibly, because he's done it before. So I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. And like I said, you make a great point. His mortality may say make a move now instead of waiting to the draft, because, draft picks, you may not have a Micah Parsons that's going to make an instant impact. So you're saying if you're going to draft somebody, maybe down the line, he doesn't have that. Facts say he doesn't have the type of time. So, yes, he may go after someone this year. I think because of that, he possibly will do that, honestly, just to take advantage of the assets that they have and to take advantage of this window that they're currently in. That's what I think. So, again, you make a great point there.
Okay, well, like I said, again, we know Steven is going to eventually be, taking the team further along a little later on. But again, I think just like you just said, then we need to go ahead, and if there's anybody out there we can get now that can help us within the next year or two, because I still believe that player is still there as far as helping us to make the playoffs for this year. So, like you said, you name those teams, and so I think to make sure that we can get Jerry a Super Bowl within the next, at least the next, I think 1 year to 3 years, hopefully between now and 2 years, that we can go ahead and get that player, and we'll go ahead and do what we need to do, because the offense doesn't really need anything else. They're gelling together. The defense is coming together. I think we had that one player that he's not like a Michael Parsons or nothing like that, but I think that other player that you talked about, hey, that would be the one that would solidify us to possibly being in the playoffs. And all these other teams, by the way, are getting a little older too.
Agreed. Well, guys, this has been the Wise Sports Show, the Willie and Son Sports Show. We are going to be on every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Hey, again, this is the Wise Sports Show, so it's not going to be just about the Cowboys. We love our Cowboys. It's not going to be just about the Cowboys. It's going to be about other NFL teams. It's going to be about some college football. Like I said, we could throw some basketball in there as well. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, peace.
Peace.